and welcome to Clappia. In this video, we will see how to add more details about the users assigned to your workplace, called user attributes. Let me explain what this means, or you can skip ahead to the demonstration in this video. Now, whenever you sign in to Clappia, a workplace gets created where you can start creating apps. As you can see, all the apps that I've created over here, and assign them to users. Now, this automatically gives them access to your workplace, or you can assign it separately. There is a separate video on how you can give users access to apps or your workplace. It is linked in the description. In workplace settings, you can see all the users assigned to the workplace and their details like email, phone number, etc. You can add more details such as the department of the user or the managers, their roles, and so on. It depends on your requirements. By adding these user attributes, you can make use of these details in any app that you create. Let's see how to do this. Once you sign in your dashboard on the left panel, go to Workplace Settings. Under Users, you'll see every user assigned to the workplace with these details. To add more columns for additional information, go to User Attributes. On the right panel, click on Create New Attribute. In Attribute Name, you can give a name that will appear as the header, like department or date of joining, something like that. Then you have Attribute Type, where you have 3 options to select from. We'll go one step at a time. Let's say I need to add the department to which the employee belongs. So in Attribute Name, I'll give a name like Department. In Attribute Type, I will select Custom List. Whenever you select Custom List, you will get options where you can list down options related to the attribute name. So I can give options for department such as Safety, Maintenance, and Management. Now make sure you give your options one after the other, ensuring that there are no spaces after each option. Then click on Save. The attribute is now created, and if you scroll a bit over here, a new column named Department now appears. You can also edit this attribute by clicking on this icon. Maybe you may have forgotten to add an option, or you want to edit the name. You can make changes. You can also delete attributes by clicking on this icon. To assign the department to users, select a user. Let's say I'm selecting this user. I'll click on it, and on the right panel, you'll get user details that you can edit. Scroll down to User Attributes, and here you can select the department. You can see all the options that I had given. Let's say I select Safety, and I'll click on Assign, and that option now appears here. To add a new attribute, you can go to User Attributes again and click on Create New Attribute. Let's say I want to add another column for date of joining. So I'll give the same name. And for attribute type, since it's the date, I'll select Date and click on Save. This attribute is now added, and in the table, you can see the column. I can assign the date of joining for this user. I'll just scroll down to User Attributes, and then for date of joining, I can select the date. The date is now added here. I'll add one last attribute to assign Manager. In Attribute Type, I'll select User List. For the same user, I'll assign the manager, again scrolling down to User Attributes. Now to assign managers, once I click on the drop down, here you'll get a list of all the users that exist in your workplace. So I'll assign the manager and click on Assign. If you're assigning a new user to your workplace, you can go to Invite User, fill in all the details, and you can also see that the attributes that I just created are listed over here. Similarly, if you have multiple users to assign to your workplace, you can go to Invite Users in bulk. If there are few of them, you can give the email addresses separated by comma and filling all the details as well as the attributes. Or if there are too many users, you can go to 1 to 10k users, download the blank spreadsheet, fill up the details, and upload it over here. As I mentioned earlier, there is a separate video on how to assign users to the workplace. It is linked in the description. Now, if you want to edit any user attribute, let's say I want to change the date of joining, I can simply select the user and again scroll down to User Attributes and simply change the option. It is now edited. Now, these attributes are not just for keeping details here in workplace settings. You can also use this information in your apps. I'll go to Dashboard and use this Project Inspections app as an example. Now, this app contains 3 sections: Site, Electrical Safety, and Verification. Let's say, for example, any employee using this app should only see Site and Electrical Safety sections. But if someone belongs to the Management department, then they should see all the 3 sections, which means that this verification section is only visible to the management and not to the other employees. Using the attributes I just added, I can implement a display condition for it. So I'll go to Design App. Since I'm the app admin, I get this option. You can see all the earlier fields and sections. Now, as I mentioned, only those belonging to the management department should see the verification section. So I'll click on this section, and on the right hand panel, I'll go to advanced, and here we have displayed this section if. Here we can implement display conditions. There is a separate video on how to implement display conditions for sections or fields. In detail, it is linked in the description. So here I can pull up the attribute variable. Let me just go back to workplace settings. If I go to user attributes and click on the department attribute, you can see that it has a variable name. Now going back to the app, here I can pull up that variable. I can type in @current user. For current user, you can see all these attributes: email, name, the phone number, and the attributes that I added. These are all the attributes listed in this table: the name, email, phone number, and the 3 attributes that I added. So I'll select current user department equals to management, which means that anytime a user logs into this app and if they belong to the management department, they will be able to see this section. If not, this verification section will not be visible to them. I click on save, but before that, whenever you give display conditions over here, we get an additional configuration field that says retain values if hidden. This should always be enabled if you need the values to be retained upon submission or any edits. Now click on save. I'll go to app home, and if I just minimize these sections, you can see the verification is no longer visible to me. That is because I have not been assigned any department. So if I were to assign myself the management department, so in user attributes, the department will be selected as management. I'll click on assign. That appears here. Now I'll go back to the app and refresh this. I'll minimize the sections, and you can see that the verification is now visible to me since I belong to the management department. But if I were from another department, let's say maintenance, and I'll just refresh this app, minimize the sections. Again, the verification section is no longer visible to me. So in this way, you can make use of the user attributes to implement display condition for sections. You can also do that for specific fields in your apps. If you go to Design App, click on any field and go to the Advanced section on the right panel, you get the Display this field if option, where you can implement the display condition. Similarly, now that I've used this in the app, you can also use it for workflows. Let's say, whenever a submission is made by an employee, an email needs to be sent out immediately to their managers. So I'll click on Add Step and select the email node. This email node can be configured on the right-hand panel. There is a separate video if you wish to know how to configure this node, linked in the description. Usually, under email addresses, we would have to list the email address to whom the notification needs to be sent to after a submission is made. But using user attributes, I can simply give in the variable, so @current user. Now for manager, you can see the name, email, and the phone number. This is because in workplace settings, if I check the manager attribute, the attribute type is user list, which gives a list of all the users in your workplace. So in that case, you get their name, email, and phone number automatically. So for the email address, I can simply select current users, manager, email, and then fill in the rest of the details and click on save. So as I mentioned, anytime a submission is made by the employee, it will check which manager they are assigned to and send them the email notification. This is also useful in case you maintain master lists of your employee details. Sometimes you may have a master list of your employees regarding their date of joining, the department, managers, their roles, etc. So in this case, instead of maintaining a separate app, you can pull up the information like so. So in this way, you can add user attributes to your workplace and make use of them in your apps and workflow automation. If you have any queries on how to add user attributes to your workplace, how to edit them, or make use of them in the apps or for workflows, or on any other feature, you can always reach out to us by clicking on this button over here, or you can contact us directly to support@clappia.com and we'll be happy to assist you. Thank you.